Welcome back, viewers and subscribers. It's your girl, Star Flames, and we are back with another video. So, in this video, we're going to talk about Tony Buzbee firing back at jayz and Rock Nation acting a damn fool on Instagram. I'm here for the theatrics. I don't know about you guys. I'm definitely here for it. Now, as you guys know, there was a lawsuit filed in October against Sean Diddy Combs. Celebrity A and B was listed. And then on December 8th, the lawsuit was amended. jayz was listed as Celebrity A. This young lady claims that jayz and Diddy did unpleasantries to her, and as such, Tony Buzbee is representing her in the lawsuit against jayz and Diddy. Now, Rock Nation has been doing some little dirty games. They have been going down into Houston because even though Buzbee's from Houston, they believe that they are the elitists, and as such, they are above the food chain. They are at the top of the food chain rather, and Buzbee is at the bottom. So they have been claiming territory over Buzbee. We've seen Queen Bee donating $100,000 to Tony Buzbee's former alma mater. And that was very indicating to me that dirty games were about to be played. And exactly as I suspected, Buzbee exposed jayz to be going after former friends, associates, clients of his, and telling them that, like, don't you want to sue Buzbee? But jayz and his team, they have stepped up that dirty game a notch. They are going directly for his criminal record. So, my theory is, and if you guys haven't seen that video was such a good video. I don't know how you guys didn't blow up that video. Maybe because I wasn't taking up for anyone. I wasn't on anyone's side. But when I see two shady people, when I see two con men, I don't see the reason why I should be on anyone's side, because jayz is not trustworthy, highly manipulative. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can see it, and I've been highlighting it for you guys. Also, Tony Buzbee is a con man, okay? He's a con man with a con plan. So I did a video outlining everything in that video yesterday. Tony Buzbee, former client and lover, stepped forward. I call her Little Miss Susie. Little Miss Susie stepped forward yesterday with a lawsuit against Buzbee, saying that, he seduced her, he took disadvantage of her, and he gave her a venereal disease. And in order to keep her silent, he offered to provide her with legal counsel free of cost. Not just that, he is taking her on a few trips here and there. And they were at a bar, and Buzbee pushed a champagne flute in her face that resulted in a chipped tooth. And I can imagine that there was a busted lip as well, because she said Tony Buzbee got violent with her. And it was so bad to the point she filed a police report last month on Tony Buzbee. So, jayz's Rock Nation, being the dirty set they are, seems as though they have connection in the police department, and the police department is gonna now pull any report that has been made on Buzbee, because if they were able to pull this police report that Little Miss Susie, Tony Buzbee, former lover and client, had filed against him when he, gave her that busted lip, that VD, that chipped tooth, I believe that girl. I believe that allegation, because the mere fact that a police record exists before all of this started, it means that Tony Buzbee scared that girl to the point where, she didn't see that as a little mishap. The champagne flute in the face, that's one thing. It's threatening, yes, and it's one thing, but a chipped tooth, a busted lip, combined with a VD. Well, the VD part, I cannot verify that VD part, but what she said about the incident that took place in the bar to the point where she had to file a police report, that portion I believe 110%, because the police report has been there before Jay-Z was named in the lawsuit, which means that she did not do that out of any salacious mean or anything. She really got scared. Tony Buzbee scared her to the point where she saw it fit to file a police report in the event that something else went wrong. She's saying, you all can look to this man. If I go missing, it is Tony Buzbee. That's literally what she did for her safety and protection. So, as I was saying, Mr. Rock Nation, Mr. Jay-Z, Mr. Untouchable, Mr. Manipulator, as you told us, seems as though he got wind of someone in the police department and they're like, oh yeah, we have something fresh off the press with Buzbee. Here it is. And I believe that this is how they're going to keep attacking Buzbee. They're going to pull his, criminal history, bring all those, people from out the woodworks to say, oh, you filed a police report on Buzbee. Do you want to sue? I've got $10,000 for you, honey. Here, sue Buzbee. You've got Rock Nation behind you. And these people are going to do it. I mean, Rock Nation hunting for you, $10,000. Someone did you dirty and you can get justice. You can get revenge legally. I would have done it too. I mean, we're all human beings and we feel the need to be justified. Some of us would move on, but if someone did you really, really dirty and you could get your revenge walking the straight and narrow path, definitely you're going to take it. Now, after Miss Little Susie filed that lawsuit and Rock Nation was telling us on Instagram that this 1-800 lawyer is going to go to jail. Rock Nation is the biggest troll. It's as though they're saying, listen, I know y'all love Riri. Riri ain't giving y'all music, but we're going to try to come as close to that as we can. So they're giving us drama to compensate for that. Now, Tony Buzbee is now firing back at Jay-Z's, allegation and intimidation strategy. Tony Buzbee saying, not because my client, which is the Vietnamese BANDIT, not because my client had a few inconsistencies in her claims, it doesn't mean that the lawsuit is frivolous. She, you guys did something to a young girl and it was so many years ago. So definitely there can be inconsistencies. You know what? This is so unfortunate because Tony Buzbee should have never given Jay-Z this opportunity to have so much leg room. Only if he had done his homework, he would realize there were major inconsistencies. So I don't know, why is it that Tony Buzbee is publicly acting in such a hypocritical manner, and anyone who wishes to see the truth, you can see that Tony Buzbee literally did not have his client's best interest at heart. His interest was to use Jay-Z's name to establish himself in pop culture. And that's literally what he did. Diddy wasn't really doing it for him because, after a while, you hear 100 lawsuits, you're going to say, okay, more going to come forward. You hear the word racketeering. And as I've been saying since day one, how is it that we're hearing the word racketeering and there are like over 300 lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs? So that's over 300 victims. Ain't no way Diddy by himself has done all of this. So if there are over 300 people, it means that there should at least be 30 people behind bars with Diddy. Where are those even 10 people? 5? Give us something. It can't just be Sean Diddy Combs. It has to be a lot more than that. So I don't know why Tony Buzbee is wasting his time filing all these lawsuits against Diddy. These victims, and I've said it once and I've said it and I'm going to say it again. These victims, they need to start a GoFundMe and they need to get some decent legal representation if they know that the allegations that they're bringing forward are factual. Tony Buzbee is not going to cut it for y'all because Diddy ain't going to pay him. Diddy is not going to pay him a goddamn red set. And you know what's going to happen after a time? The court is going to insist that these lawsuits, they're going to notice there's a pattern with Buzbee. and they're gonna ask for a break in the pattern. They're gonna demand more evidence. They're gonna demand witness. Who witnessed you going to this party? Who witnessed you go meeting up with Diddy? The court is not gonna just take these lawsuits because you're getting a court fee. They're gonna demand discovery in these allegations. So these lawsuits that Tony Buzbee is filing against Diddy, they're literally not making any sense. The only thing that these lawsuits are telling us is that there's a crime ring in Hollywood that connects Hollywood, New York City, Miami, and the only thing it's telling us is that potentially the mayors are involved, politicians are involved, because ain't no way Diddy himself could be committing so much crime in so many different states, and politicians and police and a bunch of other people don't know about it. That's the only thing those lawsuits are telling me. Now, we're going to dive into this report of Buzbee clapping back at Jay-Z and Roc Nation, because Buzbee is a damn clown at this point. And I'm going to say that without any apologies. Like, initially when he came out, I'm like, yay, Tony Buzbee, reputable. But as time passes, I can see his clownery. As time passes, I can see his tactics. As time passes, I can see the mind games that he plays. And he needs anchor. He needs substance, and he needs that little old tactics that he used in, Houston, with a few millionaires down in Houston. It's not gonna cut it. You're coming for the big boys. And these big boys that he's coming for, these big boys, they got game. They got game. You can tell Jay-Z that you're not scared. You telling Jay-Z you're not scared gets Jay-Z excited, because Jay-Z is going to show you that even though you're not scared, he's going to strip your every single layer. He's going to strip you down to your bones. And you can't just be telling Jay-Z you have military. That's not going to cut it at this point. You've got to come with game. You got to have plan. You got to have strategy. You've got to have tactics, because that's all Jay-Z is using against you. Jay-Z is watching you make 100 move, and then after he watches 100 move, he goes behind each move and he picks the crumbs that you left, the sloppy mess that you leave after each move, and he's using your own mess to come at you. So you've got to step things up a notch, because you've just declared war on an empire, and you've got to come good. You can't just say, oh, I've got military. That's not going to cut it anymore. You've got to show something, and you got to do it good. You've got to do a good job. You've got to anchor yourself in this. You have proven to people that, hey, I'm a lawyer and you can't take my word for it when I file a lawsuit. So now people were questioning those lawsuits that you filed against Diddy, and now that they've proven you see, no one. Let me back up a bit. Not no one. You see, some people, they don't take sides. Myself. They don't care if you're coming out crying, cow tears. They don't care if you have snots rolling down your face. They want to see evidence, and it has to make sense to them, because people who have experience, they know that not everyone who sounds like a victim, who says they're a victim, is in fact a victim. So these allegations, they're not just going to hold up with the people anymore. And already we have suspected that many of these lawsuits are just, people wanting to get a quick paycheck, and you're literally proving more of that to us. But as I've said, let us continue. Now they're saying the lawyer for numerous Diddy accusers is firing back at Jay-Z. Now, they're saying he's firing back at Jay-Z and his team allegations of misconduct, calling their demand for sanctions against him frivolous, and saying the star is just trying to intimidate his client and himself. Tony Buzbee filed a response Friday to Jay-Z and his team, a recent filing, claiming their justification for having him sanctioned falls on tiny inconsistencies in a person's story from nearly 25 years ago, when the Jane Doe was just a child. No, it's not just the inconsistencies, Tony Buzbee. And you can tell the at a glance people that, oh, they're just going after your license. They're just coming after you because of tiny inconsistencies. No, I paid attention. And you did not just have tiny inconsistencies. You filed the lawsuit in a court that you're not barred to practice. And not just that, you lied and said you got a case from another firm, and you said your investigative team did check and verify that the information checks out. So there's so many stipulations against you at this point. It's not just the Jane Doe inconsistencies. At this point in time, they can't demand sanctions against you because of Jane Doe inconsistencies. They can demand sanctions against you because of your actions. So don't make this about Jane Doe. And this is what you're doing. You're using PR. You want people to believe that, oh, they're coming for the victim after they've done so many horrible things to the victim. They're coming for the victim. No, no one is coming they're coming for you. It's as though you're this young lady's child. It is your duty and responsibility to protect your client, and you failed your client. And not only did you fail your client, you failed your client miserably. You put your client in front of a TV host for her lies to be broadcasted on internationally this point, because you wanted to be discovered. You wanted to go into that unknown corners of the world. You wanted the world to know about Tony Buzbee. You didn't care about your client. Every attorney has said it. No attorney allows their client with that many inconsistencies to sit down on national TV and do an interview. You're making this about you. You're not making it about your client. So stop throwing your client in the middle. She is not the problem here. It is you. You're the one they're coming after because you're the one who messed up big time and gave jayz and his team this opportunity. And that's true. Now, they're saying Buzbee says that Jay's side is trying to use a simple dispute of facts as proof that his client's allegations of our word is all BS, and his threats against Buzbee himself is just another instance of bullying. But succinctly, in a letter in Buzbee's filing, the attorney says jayz is just like Diddy, rich and powerful, and is willing to use any pressure he can to intimidate and harass him, his client, and anyone else who might be able to expose him for alleged misdeeds. Buzbee says the law treats everyone, even big stars like Jay, the same, and asks the court not to impose sanctions. The court should impose sanction on your ass. They should, because you're not new to this. You're literally true to this. You deserve those sanctions. Now they're saying, we told you all about jayz's motion filed by lawyer Alex Farrell, claiming an NBC News report poked enough holes in jayz accuser's lawsuit to bring Buzbee's conduct into question. I hope this sanction is asked. I swear to God. Remember, an anonymous woman is accusing Jay and Diddy of awarding her at an MTV Music Video Award after party in 2000. Though her recollection of the events doesn't seem to match up with pictures taken after the award show, Jay's lawyer argued Buzbee didn't do enough fact-checking, and that is true, of his client's story, which was his responsibility. So you see, they're not coming after your client, they're coming after you. We've reached out to Spiral about Buzbee's filing, and he says, when it became crystal clear to everyone that this case is a total sham, this lawyer who did not properly vet this claim promised to polygraph his client. Where are the polygraph results? He's not going to give it to you. He's a damn con man. That's all Buzbee do. Buzbee has the tactics of a politician. Promise, distract, and that's it. Nothing more. Nothing more. But guys, enough of me. It's your time to chime in. Let me know what are your thoughts while you're at it. Thumbs up, share, stay safe, and see you guys later. Peace.